Welcome, everyone. Hello. We're glad you could be here today. I'm Carrie Henderson. I am a volunteer with PMI Carolina. I'm the Director of Mentoring, and today we're in the Ways of Working session. So we're glad that you guys are investing in your career development and have the opportunity to network with you all today. So within this session, we have Vinod Kumar, and he is the technical program manager for Amazon and really an eminent figure in the IT membership field. Also, as far as his past experience and present experience, he's navigated a lot of different sectors within the IT realm. And he has a lot of expertise in healthcare, manufacturing, and service domains. Additionally, he's done and he has implemented digital transformation initiatives and optimized customer service through AI technologies. And he also has a number of different publications, some of which include interoperability in healthcare and predictive analytics in the service optimization, in service optimization. So today, I'm going to hand it over to Vinod to get started. A couple things, just make sure that you have your phones on silent, and these are supposed to be fun, interactive sessions, so if you've got questions, we want to hear them. This is a relaxed atmosphere and a place for you guys to, learn and gain the knowledge. So take it away, Vinod.
Okay, thank you. I have this one. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for showing up here today. She have given me a great introduction. Just a few more fun facts. I have been volunteering with this chapter also for almost 8 years now. I'm PMP for almost 12, 14 years now. I've been working in various sectors, various roles. For the last 8, 9 years, I have been closely working with the C-level leadership, and that's where this topic is coming along. So portfolio thinking, like all of us at our different capacity, we work with our stakeholders and navigating through uncertainty and making sure the value is delivered. I'll relate the message from the previous session that what value project manager brings to the table, and that question being asked every day in and out. Whenever there is a leadership cost optimization meeting sessions, it's very common topic, right? So what does these people bring in? So project manager becomes Scrum Master, Agile Masters, then technical program manager, technical project manager. In my company itself, like there are 10,000 roles and there are 1,000 profiles. And every time you go and ask for additional resources, okay, what do you guys really do, right? So we'll focus towards like how do we elevate ourselves on a portfolio thinking, more on strategy level than more on transactional level. It goes back to typical definition of project, program, and portfolio. So portfolio being the highest level of strategic thinking, we want to go to that level. So small icebreaker exercise, if you don't have paper and pen with you, that's fine. You can either grab it from there or just use your phone or notepad. So your CEO had a press release or a stakeholder meeting where he made this statement. And anyone can raise your hand if you feel this is like out of ordinary statement, which is, I believe, is like typical statement which we normally see. And that's fair. It's nothing out of fancy, but this is what you want to convey trust to your stakeholder that the money you have invested is in the right place. So what he's saying? He's saying that company is continued focus on innovation, operational efficiency, and sustainable growth. Fair? Just give me a nod. He emphasized strengthening customer trust, driving digital transformation, investing in the talent development as top priority. Fair? Then the update enforced the organization's commitment to delivering long-term value to all stakeholders. Now, broadly, there are 3 points here. And it touches the all three tenets of the companies, no matter which business you are into. You want your customers' trust, you want innovation, you want growth. So, as a C-level leader, you have broken down his statement, and now you have to be ready with your action plan. So, his top 3 is now going to transpose into your top 5 project priorities. Now, I want each one of you to take 5 minutes, and I'll shut myself for 3, 4 minutes or 5 minutes in between. If you have a question, you can ask me. Write down 5 projects which you think aligns to your CEO statement. And it goes in organization alignment. It makes sure that company achieving those goals with your project initiatives. You can take your day job, portfolio, profile, role and responsibility. It can be IT, non-IT, business, support, anything. Write down 5 projects, and there's a reason for 5. I want 5, not 4, not 6, 5. So please take your time, think through those things, and list down. And there's a pop quiz after this. We have to ask somebody to just share those things. You can build a unicorn. It's up to you what you want to think or you think is strategically aligning to your CEO's statement. Meanwhile, rather than an awkward silence, I'll just give you a fun fact of this image. I created this with AI, and this, if you focus closely, this man has some funny eyes. His eyes were like kind of blurred. I'm not sure why. I tried to create it a couple of times, but for some reason they wanted to have eyes like this only. But thanks to AI, my overall time spent on presentation is relatively less than what it's supposed to be. Always looking through the word art or finding right images from the stock pictures is hard. Now you can ask your AI to create image for you, and then most of the time they work, unless you're looking for funny eyes. So I'll move on. If you're done, good. If not, that's still fine. So now, when we talk about the portfolio thinkings, the high tenets, what we talk about is risk, impact, and value. And those are 3 tenets we also covered in the statement. So you have to either utilize your risk or mitigate your risk, depending on your risk life cycle, what we have, and make sure those are adding on to the value for your portfolio. So even though there are 3 different tenants, and at the first time they looks like a oxymoron, like looking opposite to each other, but they complement each other. So you have to align these things based on your organization. And your organization is a top level entity. So everything which goes from a minute level, project level, aligns ultimately to your company's objective. If it's not, then you are doing something wrong. You have to go back to drawing board and redo everything. Now, business impact is always your North Star. So how you are delivering, what you are delivering is going to matter throughout the life cycle. So it can be like for a support function, you are doing customer support. You are not delivering an actual product, but you are supporting the initiative where your customer trust is being built, if your brand value is being maintained or enhanced. So that way, the impact can be in any form of deliverables, but it still adds to the value what we have. So one of the key differentiator with any portfolio versus any project or program is the strategic thinking. So by definition, project is start, finish, deliverable, right? Those are three main points of a project. Now, and that at the end of the project, that delivers a value. But the value can be isolated to the project, or it can be aligned to a portfolio. But when it comes to portfolio, this is always aligned with the value. And the way most companies work, the portfolio is very close to your C-level leadership, your board of directors, your investors, and all those things. So if you want to open a new plant, you want to open a new location, new office, that's somewhere is showing direct impact. And that's why we just always keep it, okay, portfolio may not have a duration of time bound. It can be 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, or even ongoing. Because the nature of the value it delivers depend on the objective you are trying to achieve. Now, still you have to have your technical projects because they complement your strategic. If you do not have tactical project in progress, then somehow they may hamper your strategic project. If you are not doing a compliance project, for example, and you think, hey, compliance is okay, like we can get away without it, eventually your company may lose some credibility in the market. Even though that was a tactical project, it's hampering your strategic initiative. At certain time, you have to leave your strategic project behind, and you have to do a firefighting on the other side. You see this way too many times now with the cybersecurity. Many companies used to have less focus on the cybersecurity, and all of a sudden you have a attack on your organization, and you drop everything else, and you have to just mitigate those things. I've seen people doing like damage control with those kind of things very promptly, rather than spending a gradual money or more being tactical and transactional in those things. Now, cost of not prioritizing, it's in itself. So if you don't prioritize your projects, if you don't prioritize your portfolio or program, there are always twofold damage. One, you have loss of opportunity. And second, of course, the effort you have put in without prioritizing a project also goes in vain. So you are not only losing the money, time spent on the project which was not worth it, you're also losing an opportunity loss which would have given you value by doing the right work. So it's not X number of hours wasted on the project, it's X multiplied by 2 hours wasted on the project because you did not do something which would have been helpful for the organization. And along with that, it also does not look, it's a monetary loss, right? So you are not spending time on where you're supposed to spend, but also you're losing the trust, and you are also demotivating your team. At a certain point, your team will also start doubting on your capabilities. That's where the question comes, what project managers do. Now, success criteria always, and these are highlighted items as seasoned project managers, program managers, portfolio managers. You may have seen this one, ROI, return on investment, time to value, and strategic alignment. Now, strategic alignment sometimes become non-monetary. It may not have dollar value assigned to it, but it may have something like a regulatory requirement, right? If you have to work, you have to do business in Europe, you have to have GDPR compliances aligned. It does not give you benefit in dollar value, but it opens a new opportunity, new doors for you. If you are doing business in China, you have to align with regulation in China. If you're doing business in any other country, you have to align with the local law and regulations. Now, stakeholder satisfaction and risk adjusted outcomes, they are also part of navigating through our portfolio management when we do. So, as part of that, you are always checking on these things, right? It's a iterative process where you keep checking on these things, or you keep navigating through, adjusting your course, that you are aligned and prepared for success. And that's where we bring the value, right? So, your team always task focus. You will even hear from the people like say, hey, that's not my job. But we go beyond, we really have stepped backward and say, no, it's not related to job. It's like looking at the bigger picture and making sure that what value we deliver. It's 1 + 1 is 2 only when I make one person do one and I have other person do another one, and then I combine them like a puzzle piece and deliver a value of 2.
Can you talk for a moment more about the risk-adjusted outcomes and what that means?
Let's go back to example of GDPR. You are aware of GDPR? GDPR. So it's a compliance requirement to work in Europe. So if you have to work in Europe, you have to have those compliance requirements met. If you work in Germany, like GDPR example, but you can take any country or any business area. Like in US, if you work in healthcare, you have to have HIPAA compliance, right? So your company is not in, say, certain business, and you want to get into those business, you are exposing yourself to new risk.
Yes.
Now you have to adjust your strategy to align your business value with new opportunity, new risks. So if you go to risk life cycle, you not only mitigate risk, you also exploit risk. In exploitation, what you're doing, you're adjusting your course. If mitigation is happening, you are aligning towards mitigation. If exploit is happening, then you are exploiting the risk. So by having a HIPAA compliance, you can get into a sector of healthcare. Or you can protect your members, your employees, your stakeholders' information by aligning to those regulations. So whenever you are working, you may find a new risk, and that's why you go through the life cycle of risk, and you see where it fits in and how it adjusts your overall approach to achieve your goal. So you always, without saying you're doing that approach, but it's more highlighted that, okay, hey, this was the risk, and your risk register, you maintain those things. Okay, yes, we had this risk encountered, but looks like this opportunity. We can avail this, right? So if we feel it's going to hamper us in the future, early you detect, it's going to cost less for us. So again, it's part of the same risk management. So sooner you have the risk identified, it's going to create less impact on your business. So that's why you're always navigating through those risks, and keeping tab on your risk is always going to be helpful.
Thank you.
Make sense? Yeah. Yeah.
I was also just going to add to that with, reviewing your risks. For example, when he's talking about like HIPAA and having to implement certain things to protect, personal data, like those can be hefty projects in themselves too.
Yes.
Where if you're not looking at those risks, you may be missing core projects that will need resource capacity as well.
Yeah. Cost of not doing something can be great, like your brand reputation, your customer trust, your data loss, threat of hacking or ransomware. That's come on more cybersecurity, but still, like any business you go for, it's the same thing. It's like what kind of risk you have is going to impact accordingly. And as a strategic member of the team, you have visibility on those. You want to see those things before these people do. You're a business analyst will not say, hey, it's a table, right? For a business analyst, it's a table full of 10,000 records, name, email address, social security number, blah, 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 like 20 fields. For him, it's nothing more than a SQL table or whatever platform you use. But when you look at this, you don't look at the table. You look at the person's PII data. And if it goes out somewhere, if it's not properly protected, then the risk of exposed is too high. In dark web, somebody said social security number sells for $1 each. So you imagine like how many times our social security number have been sold and bought on the internet. And that's why we get this call, right? So I'm calling you for IRS and you have outstanding arrest for you. Never fall for that. So one key factor with any project management is it's more siloed. So in your team also you may have 10 teams, and nowadays I've seen a trend that they either have Scrum Master or Project Manager, which is specific to the team. Now that brings to a new challenge, that how do we align those isolated projects into one strategic objective? So if team goes along, they just have a PM touch base or a program level meeting. But if not, then they are working in silos and they do what they want to do. As part of the portfolio thinking, it's always to have a governance around it, where you are going to not, as a portfolio leader, you should have visibility to the every project going in the organization. You may not get involved in those projects and you don't want to involve in those projects, but you should know the value coming out of those projects and how it's affecting your portfolio. Now, when you centralize governance model, now you have one snapshot, one executive dashboard, where you can show all the values, all the risks, all the impacts, financials, everything shown on executive dashboard. Now that brings one edge on your side for your leadership, decision making, right? So now based on the data, you can ask your leadership for their decision. Unless you are scavenging through the 1,000 projects, like sometimes we have a project status meeting where you have 100 projects going on, and you're showing them 50 are on time, 20 behind the schedule, 10 on hold, and pardon my math, remaining are behind schedule, right? Now, looking at this status, 50 on schedule, 20 behind, 10 on hold, remaining are just scrap, or whatever the status you want to put it. Tell me, what is the value it's delivering? As a leader, as a C-level leader, do you care how many projects on time? Not really. What do you care about? You care about what value these 50 projects are delivering and what value I'm not getting from the projects we are behind or not able to meet deadline. Your 50 projects on time can be outweighed by one project which is behind the schedule, because that's probably is the leading factor of all these 50 projects. So the status report should not be a number, it should not be red, amber, green. It should be the value. So the way I used to have I have my dashboards most of the time, like keeping 4 or 5 highlights, highs, lows, risks. Not the number, but the value, like what statement you bring in. On a HIPAA compliance or HIPAA certification, we are behind schedule, because that will impact on something else. So you're just showing the value. Now your CEO, CIO, CEO can tell you, hey, let's put more focus on this. What do you want for a go green strategy for this initiative? So now you have actionable items, and you are getting actionable item because you had actionable ask from the leadership. You're asking them, hey, this is where we are lacking. We need to focus on this. Now either it's a financial support, additional funds, having additional resources, additional time, whatever you feel is going to be your ask and deliverable from the leadership. So quicker decision making for the authority is the outcome here. So you are bringing in the room what is your clear ask. It need not be 2 page, 3 page, 6 page, right? It's like first paragraph of whatever report you are presenting should outlines your requirement, what are the risks. And your leader can read through and then say, okay, I think I align with this, let's do it. Or let's not do it. So they know what decision they are making. And that's always instrumental in your success. I was listening to one of the our top 5 billionaires, richest people, and he was telling same thing. I keep my high valued meetings in the morning and not in the form of meeting, more of a ask. What do you want me to have? So if you are looking for a say $1 billion project in so and so geography, these are outcome, these are risk, and you just simply navigate through. So you are bringing your clear ask and then making the decision faster. And in this whole discussion, I'm making you as the center of the universe. You as a project manager, program manager, portfolio manager are the center of that universe. Because you are translating what is more transactional project into a more strategic objective, what value we bring and what value we want to achieve. Now, there are like so many tools now, most of tools, it's hard to outline, but you always want to pick a tool of your choice, whatever you think is suitable in your case. Your message should be clear what you want to have. So these are if you look at the top right, for decision matrix, you're talking about you're scoring your initiatives. And in your SWOT chart, as a WSJF1, you are basically doing quadral analysis that what you think is good. And this SWOT analysis goes a long way because they give you more readable decision making for your leadership. Sometimes you do not have your leader which is with the same technical background. As an IT leader, you're presenting to CEO, who is a say healthcare professional, a healthcare leader. So you want to translate something into your audience level of knowledge in the subject matter. And really don't look at the tools, but message here is your tool should be aligned to your messaging. It can be as simple as an Excel sheet, or it can be as complex as any of the tools available in the market. Now, one of the biggest failure we always talk about the stakeholder buyout. Like in our projects, we always find some people who are not supporting your initiative or who are not really fully on board with this. And that's where your team management, team engagement skills come into picture. How do you strategically involve all the stakeholders? Most time you want them to play along with you, be your support. You always introduce yourself to them as their partner, and engage with them in positive way. But sometimes you may have to push hard. You have to bring them in and say, yes, it has to be done, so it has to be done. Now, the second point, clarify trade-offs and benefits. So, my personal experience, your team members always have real life challenges for you because they are the one doing work day in, day out. And sometimes it's good to discuss those benefits and discuss the trade-off. So when you build a system design, when you build a approach, always make sure that you are touching the highs and lows. Those may not come from document or the requirement, but those may come from the people who are doing the hands-on job. One of my example, from my early IT days, used to have one of the SQL server was slow, and our leaders will say, okay, it's slow, add one more server, or add more licenses, add more CPU or RAM. And nobody kind of went back to the DBA and asked him, okay, what's your recommendation on this one? And I was a team leader at the time. I said, casually on the coffee or chai, I asked him, okay, hey, what do you think? What's your recommendation on this one? Hey, nobody reached out to me so far. It's not a capacity problem. It's a configuration problem. And this guy did some script cleanup. He did some paging or something like that, and system was fast just like anything. So you did not engage the right stakeholder, and no matter how fast you run, if you're running in the wrong direction, you're not going to reach anywhere. So engaging your right stakeholder early as possible in the right capacity, right way is going to help you out. What did I do? Sorry. Probably I went through this thing before. So use metrics, not intuitions, right? One of the things is we are doing pretty good. We are better than last quarter. We are better than the last quarter. What do I mean? Can you quantify this? Like, no. But if you say our deliverable last year was 10 million, now we are 11 million, or we are 10% up from 10 million, that's a metric. Nobody can negotiate those things. But including those good, better, my experience is better than those things. And I used to see those smileys. How is your experience? And you have 4 smileys. Okay, that's better. But of course, we are keeping number behind it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But your metric is going to speak for you. Now, RAG status, what we talk about, green, amber, green, red, amber, green, is going to be helpful just to show your health of the overall portfolio. Because you're showing as, okay, what work you're doing, how much you're doing. But that still does not show the value. So you have to complement your metric in such a way that you are showing the entire spectrum to them, entire big picture view to your leadership. Nowadays, do any of you use like Power BI or Tableau or anything for reporting? How do you think is the experience with those things, like rather than working with Excel sheet or any other data? So my experience with those tools is phenomenal. Like first thing, you don't have to redo every time. Second thing, even you can give authority to your stakeholders. You give them a link, and they can browse through the report by themselves. They can dig through, drill through, change the view, whatever they want to see, they can see. So using latest tool, adopting those tools definitely be helpful. Now with AI component, I started with the Power BI when it was not really AI intuitive. But now if you go to those tools, within dashboard you can put a statement, tell me the highs of the last quarter. So if you have those kind of visit in your report, it will pull through the report and then show those things only to your stakeholder. So using right tools is also helpful for any portfolio manager because you are enabling your stakeholders. And I think almost every tool, project management, PPM tool have these features nowadays. You don't have to really rely on Power BI. But even Monday.com or Asana or Jira, even Jira has those dashboard features. So you can use those things. Now, always, of course, we don't have unlimited money, unlimited time. So when come to prioritization, as a portfolio manager, you will be always asked to make a hard choice. Sometimes it will be put upon you that you don't have any option, and sometimes also it will be always work will be always more than what you can handle. And when I say you, it's you and your team entirely. Now, as part of this prioritization, your key factor is still going to be what value you deliver and how you deliver. And feel free to stop me in between if you have any question. So from project to program to portfolio, we're bridging the gaps. We're just breaking the silos. So when you're working on project level, you are being more transactional, more focused on project. And as you lead towards portfolio, you are more strategic, more org objective. Now, finding those dependencies is going to be helpful in a way that you can truly deliver the value. Now, I'm always concerned about the risks. And the way we know the risk can transverse from one project to other, they can impact one or other deliverables. So knowing all the risks is early win for us. So having said that, no matter how small the risk is, it should be analyzed properly unless the cost of the risk becomes too high at the later stage of the project.
I've been trying to find a good way to map dependencies that's like easy to read and understand, and I haven't really had a lot of luck. It gets very complicated and convoluted. Do you have a good method for mapping those dependencies across the portfolio?
So tool-wise, I have not had great success, honestly, but my victory in this kind of use case always been the collaboration with your peers and your other team members. So having those planning meetings, your retrospective meetings, your PI planning meetings are, if you're in Agile, those things. Otherwise also you should have a portfolio meeting bi-weekly or monthly so that you discuss those things. And one message which people get wrong, they make these portfolio meetings as they are going to give the status of their projects. It's other way around. You should attend those meetings to listen what others are saying and then put that in your perspective. So surprise always comes from not your project, it's from other project, right? So because you have good handle on your own territory, so you're always afraid of what's happening on the realm. And that's a constant problem. Like even in my teams have same problem. They'll stop joining. They say, no, I don't have anything to report. No, I'm not asking you to report anything. I'm asking you to come at least listen to others that what can affect you or what you are doing can affect them. Yeah.
So not a question, I just wanted to address what she was just talking about. It's not a solution, but what I've found is a lot of times on those interdependencies, what you have is some programs that are ghosting within there. So you've got a bunch of projects that are related, but people don't recognize that they're programs, or they don't put together roadmaps. And those are the things that, outside of your tool, are things that
Exactly.
Personal history, everybody works differently. Personal history is if you can dive in and get people to think through their roadmaps and then help them identify where they have some programs. The programs then can help manage those interdependencies, and then you're just having to say where that program fits within the portfolio. So you can get up, a little bit where you've got other people that are managing more of those details that can get really complex. Not everything works that way,
Yes.
but just personal experience, people who don't understand how valuable program management can be end up with portfolios that look like they're very flat, when in reality again, personal experience, most portfolios aren't flat, they're deep, and you just don't get people to do that depth.
That's right. That's like reading between lines, what's not being said. Like, that's true. And the question here. Yeah.
It's not really a question, it's just a comment to go by what she said. Another thing that I found that's helpful in that space is if you keep a log of these are the benefits or the outcomes of all the projects and then the risks, if you cross-map them, even if it's cross-project, so when something comes up with one risk, you've already got it tagged, so it will come up as you're doing the reviews. So if, for example, this project risk is realized, you've already got it listed that it impacts all these benefits, so that you've done some of that dependency mapping at the beginning. You've got to have rights back and forth between your projects within your tool, so that you'll be able to create the links and it will work. But having the map between the benefit and the risk within the individual projects has also been very helpful, because as those risks come to fruition, You already know what benefits are impacted because you've got it documented and linked there.
That's right. Yeah, but we have done similar thing like where you mark your projects as like what hi-fi you're aligning to, and then cross-organization, you can see those things. Now, unfortunately, even after so many years of the organized project management, there are many unknown territories here. So one common factor is like your system is not homogeneous, right? A company may have multiple tools, multiple teams. Within tool also you have boundary. Not everybody have access to your projects. So the way it's implemented get kind of lost in translation. But you're right, like when you have tags and you have some cross dependency defined, you can just talk about those things in better way, like you can have cross dependency there. But utilize those portfolio meetings, those personal interactions, leadership connects to find those kind of surprises for you.
Question
That's why I
here.
always say, right? 80-20% rule, like we spend 80% communicating, 20% doing anything else. So that comes into thing. Yeah, please.
Yes, so my question is, or comment to the both of you, what does that look like from an outcome perspective? Are you using a tool to demonstrate, and what tool are you using? Are you using Excel? Because the reason I'm asking is there are opportunities to take that data and then put it into Power BI to have some type of really great output that you can show your stakeholders where those interdependencies are.
I've done this at a bunch of different places. So back in the day when we didn't have all these tools, yes, we did that. We did it in Excel and we mapped it over and it was all manual and it was horrible, right? But then we got Project Online and we have Jira and you have like 10 other tools. And so the ability to do that is in there, even if you have to put web links into your notes between your risks and your benefits or whatever. But sometimes it's in a hidden feature that you didn't necessarily use, and other times it's direct. You really have to look at how your tools are set up and utilize them in a way that makes sense for you. If you have Jira that has all these interdependencies and your sponsors don't log into Jira, that's not helpful. Then you need to do Power BI so that you can link it to your sponsors like he was talking about. You have to have a tool that everybody's going to use, or you have to have an output that everybody's going to read. But there's a whole bunch of different ways to do it, and whether you do it in a Microsoft product or Tableau or whatever, there's a lot of ways you can do it. Hopefully it's not manual, but there are lots of ways you can do it.
So just in terms of
the
time.
last comment then. That's all great. Tools are all great. My personal experience, again, hot take and humble opinion is executives won't get below that. So you can have a nice, graphic and everything, but the boots on the ground and just that legwork of socializing and making sure they understand, not just that they're nodding their head, but making sure they understand what those dependencies mean. It's going to be far more important than whether you're doing it manually or the tool or whatever. The tools are great, and I've got some ideas, but that legwork doesn't go away.
That's right. Yeah. No, great. In the interest of time, let me slide through the other things, and we'll take the question again at the back of the session. So we already talk about these things. So you are navigating through your risks, socializing those, going through the life cycle of the risk, making sure those are properly addressed, well maintained, well tracked. One takeaway from regular risk management, I even don't leave my closed risk alone, because those can also reopen anytime. So whenever you're doing your risk assessment, make sure you just go to the entire risk register now and then and make sure that nothing is arising again. Now, we have some fly here. Now, Agile and portfolio management, little bit, in Agile it becomes a little more peculiar, because you are talking about the incremental delivery. So in that case, even though you are thinking as a roadmap through your PI planning and the roadmap planning, but still it's continuous delivery. So in that case, it's become more vital to keep track of your agile progress, because now you're continuously delivering, but if you are not delivering the right direction, then you are preparing yourself for failure. So in agile, the PI plannings, PI planning and those portfolio plannings are definitely key. Make sure you have all the people, stakeholders attend those sessions without fail. Like I'm not sure your organization has every 3-month PI planning or iterative planning meetings. So those planning meetings, if you do not have right inputs, you may not be going in the right direction. At least in your typical waterfall, you have long-term goals to achieve, and you have phase gate in between where you're doing a check. So at every phase gate, you can assess what your EV values are, how good or bad you're doing. But if in agile format, if you're delivering every 2 weeks, and if you go back and check after 3 months, your 10 sprint worth of work is wasted. So one, your legwork is solid. You have done good planning at the start, and throughout your oral PI duration, you are delivering on time, aligning to your roadmap, and rechecking at the next planning. So any small deviation for a 3-month gap can be a huge variance at the end. Now, this is my favorite slide. Kill your project ruthlessly. What do I mean, right? So I was talking about the twofold loss, your loss of productivity and opportunity loss. So if you are spending time on a worthless project which is not aligning, not delivering any value, and you keep working on it, you are losing not only your time, but also money and other resources. So as soon as you find out this project is not worth it, discuss with your stakeholder, kill it, and move on. Now, portfolio review cadence. So this is what I was talking about, like unknown. So this should not be a status meeting. This should be really a collaboration meeting between stakeholders. You are getting update from them, you're giving their update, and these people are kind of remapping their deliverable based on what information you're providing. And it should be required for all the stakeholders, and it should be in cadence. You want to pick a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, it's up to you, depending on criticality of the business, but there should be a cadence to it. Now, outcome of this should be you rebalance your business need shift, because you are navigating through those things, and include your KPI, feedback, and trends. So these are going to readjust your course for the future sprints. Now, traditionally in waterfall, we simply say, okay, this is my goal during the course of the project or portfolio. I'm going to adjust my deliverables and deliver the product. Now, with so much technology innovation going on right now, we want to make sure we utilize technology for our benefit. We see what tools, what processes are part of the technology stack which can help us out to build a better product. If you feel you are working on a portfolio for 3-year duration, and you find some new tool is introduced in the market which is helpful for you, bring it up, do a demo, keep some time, capacity spared for your innovation ideas. So you encounter a new tool, go for POC, test it, find it, go ahead and include as part of your portfolio. So the portfolio which you are working for 3 years might cut down to 2.5 years, 2 years, just by utilizing the latest technology you have. One mistake never repeat is, like, I have seen people just blaming the tool. If you're using Jira and in between somebody says Jira is a crap, let's go for Monday.com or Asana, right? Uh, Unless you see a value, I don't see worth it to move tools just like that. If one tool is, your team is comfortable, you are delivering the value out of it, let it be your tool. So people just try to be more like, of course, new tools are more intuitive, more graphic and AI component, all those things are there. But you have to also include the cost of training and cost of moving to the other tools. Change management integration. So integrated change management is same part of it. Like when you're navigating through this, you don't want to simply make changes or correct your course of action. You have to go through the entire process of change management so that it's documented why and when it was done and how it's going to impact your overall value. And I'm kind of running out of time. So typical PPM tools you can use, Plan View, Clarity, Jira. Asana is good. I have seen some good work with the Smartsheet also nowadays and utilize those AI tools. Yeah, I think you can get it. I don't have any problem with that, yeah. So you can utilize those AI tool and automation tools. Before real AI, I used to use UiPath RPO, right? I'm not sure what the tool, I forgot the name. But it's UiPath automation tool. So you can use those tools. Anything which can make your life easy, go for it. Use your time which you have kept for innovation to test those tools and utilize those. You have to keep measuring your health of your portfolio, short term, long term. Make sure you are delivering the values. So typical waterfall, right? Phase gate. Phase gates are meant for these things. You are doing a sanity check, whether you are on track to deliver the value. If you are not delivering the value, how much you have delivered or what is the delta. So those things you have to keep track of. That makes you a valuable part of the team. And then make a strategy from project to product. So products are mostly outcome based. So even though your company may not be product based, but the value you're delivering is in some form or factor of a product. You deliver the value and it becomes product when your audience start using it. Adoption is the key there. So the by mean product is not physical product, but it's a value and adoption of that value. I'll shift to 2-3 slides. I'm out of time, but I'll go to my last slide here. I'll bring the circle back here, complete the circle. So what we did, we just had 5 projects listed. Now you have to ruthlessly kill 2 projects out of those. And you can be my volunteer to tell why you are killing those projects and what make you keep remaining 3 as part of your portfolio, but not these 2. And I'm sure like when you wrote those 5, you must have an all positive approach for all 5, right? Delivering some value for each 5 of those projects. Now you have to make a choice that you have to sacrifice 2 out of those 5. And what will be the rationale? And anyone, just raise your hand if you want to share. I'll give it, yeah, please.
So I used our real life portfolio, and it looks like we have 3 that are very customer focused. So I kept one of the customer focused ones that has the biggest impact and value add, and I took out the other 2.
Yeah. So approach she adopted is balancing the delivery value, right? So you had 3 customer focus projects. Okay, let me kill 2, keep 1, another will deliver 2. So the impact is widespread. It's not focused in one. If she had chose all 3 customer focused, she might be losing some other teams, other departments which are not focused. So that will create a vacuum and gap. That's good approach. Great. Anyone else? We're not judging. Like, we're all working on our day life. Like I'm also experiencing my day life experiences to you. You want to share? Please?
All right, so I only made it to 4.
That's okay.
Yeah. So I was using this as a sort of an example from my past life. So I took the example of like a regional construction company, right? The majority of the work is new construction, not reconstruction. And I was thinking, all right, well, how do you innovate in what seems to be, a market where the technology changes and the materials change, but like not always the processes, right? And so I thought, all right, well, one project you could train and hire and build out a design team, because what a lot of people don't realize is that owners are responsible for design unless they outsource it, right? So you could develop a design team so you could do turnkey stuff, right? That gives you that grows your customer base. Other project was to train and hire internal subject matter consultants to do like a lot of the new modern technology. So this is innovation plus building out your services. So it's like building information modeling, digital clones, building commissioning, things like that. Another would be to develop an internal and external certified training. So in construction, the workforce is really, really like plummeting, and they go through a lot of really, really bad cycles. So if you can work with the trade associations to develop training, you could sell that service to other contractors as well as maintain your own workforce. And the other was to get OSHA VPP certification, because there's only one contractor in the whole country that has that, right?
Awesome. Which one you killed?
Killed one of them, which is to train the designers. You could always just network with other architects and things like
got
that.
it. So the key highlight from his project one, he was building the project to product approach. He was trying to build a product where you can market it to other teams. Training the team is good, but the way he navigated through his risk is, he said, okay, it may not be my full-fledged project, but I can do it more transactional way. I can do it as part of on-the-job training rather than initiative. He killed, but he did not kill really. But yes, still he navigated his course through that, and that's what we have to do most of the time. We can take one more. Yeah.
Hi, I just have a question, comment
Yes.
on prioritizing your projects. Perfect world, not a deadline. Do you choose the project that's the most value add for the organization, or the weighted shortest time to be like, if there's 3 and you had to knock out 2, would you choose the value add or the shortest time?
So value outlaws everything else, right? Value is definitely the key, but it cannot be yes and no answer anytime. You have to like go through your entire portfolio, like look at the larger picture, that what it entails. If your shorter duration project might be adding value to the different initiative, then it might be your quick win. So you can show it to the leadership that yes, we have done this, achieved this in short period of time, but it did not deliver direct value, but it is delivering add-on value to something else. So again, we have to break the silos here. So you cannot have your project which is like, say, no, it's a shorter project and this delivered and done. No, it should have value in some larger perspective. So your project short term, but it should have value aligning to something else, so it can be a quick win. If not, rethink whether this is really a project for you or not. And then if a direct value is being delivered, definitely can be a high priority. And again, you don't make decision by yourself. You have to play along with your stakeholders. Now, let me see what I have, I think last. Yeah, any questions? You can connect with me. I am on LinkedIn, a website, I'm not sure how it's active or not. Yeah, it's active, but I'm not updating it anymore. But yes, connect with me on LinkedIn. This is my QR code or your QR code?
So I went around the room. I think I got everyone's name. The QR codes are not working as intended. So if you have not written your name on this lovely program for me, come see me afterwards.
Yeah.
So we can make sure we get your PDUs.
And thank you all for joining today, and really appreciate the time you invest in here today. And especially thank for attending my session. And I look forward to see you guys again in my future sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinod.